Okay.
Welcome, Judy. Thank you for joining us for today's interview. We're going to touch on a few different areas. Firstly, looking at your career journey to date before then going on to look at specific areas in which you specialize. So, just to give uh, the viewers of this a general overview, please can you tell me your name and provide an overview of your current role and what you're currently up to?
Sure. My name is Judy Pal. I have been a public relations practitioner for more than 40 years. Been very, very fortunate to spend time on both sides of the television camera. Spent a lot of time working in public relations in Canada, working in professional sports and consulting. And then once I moved down to the United States, have spent most of my career working in law enforcement and government PR, including stints in a couple of major cities in the United States, Baltimore, Milwaukee, and finished my career with the NYPD as an assistant commissioner there. And my job was to advise the police commissioner about everything regarding communications.
Thank you very much. Looking ahead to the FIFA World Cup, something that we've done some work
Love this.
together around,
Yep.
and I guess a huge event, one of the biggest events that ever takes place in the world, brings enormous commercial reputation opportunities, also some pretty sizable risks
Yeah.
and threats as well. So, with that in mind, and looking ahead to the FIFA World Cup that will be taking place in the States in just a short while, what proactive work should first response communicators be doing to ensure that they're in a good place and well prepared for that event?
2026 is going to be a pinnacle year in the United States for events. We have FIFA, we have America 250, we have significant events across this country, and other countries around the world will be having huge FIFA watch parties. This is where malicious actors will come in and try to cause chaos as they do. I think it's really important for communicators to start planning and training now. Communicators need to be in the tabletop and desktop scenario planning that operations are doing right now, but there's other things that we need to be doing as well. We need to be earning credibility for the social sites and for the communication sites that we are going to be using. If you're having a lot of people coming to your city, if you're hosting one of the FIFA games, you need to be reaching all the people that are going to be coming for those games. So I'm going to be tracking who's winning which games, who's going to be attracted to these things. Secondly, I want to make sure that I already have things prepared, like rumor control pages, FAQ pages, my app, if I have that opportunity. I want to be able to crowdsource information. If I am hosting a large event, I want to have the ability, if something goes wrong, that people can provide us information in video and in a chat if they need to. I want to prepare chat bots that can respond with basic FAQ information if there is a crisis. Chat bots are becoming very, very good, and they can be a huge source of information because people are just going to go to their apps or their phone to look for what they should be doing. People are not phoning 911 anymore. And lastly, and I know we're talking to communicators here, but there is a huge role for leadership here. Leadership needs to understand how important communication will be in the case of something awful happening. And it is extraordinarily important that all leaders recognize the value of their public information people and they are sitting in the right place in that org chart, which is on the right hand of that incident commander or that leader, to make sure that we're able to communicate information in a timely manner. So the timeliness, the speed, the consistency, but it needs to be able to come from the top.
Great, thank you. And then finally, we've all seen, we've both seen this, sorry, play out in terms of working with teams that don't place an onus on preparing in the right way. Given the profile of the FIFA World Cup, the sort of the enormous complexity in terms of the stakeholder and sort of platform environment that will be in play. What are some of the key risks for you of teams being underprepared ahead of such a high profile event?
If you are not prepared in advance of a high profile event, whether everything goes off beautifully or there is a significant crisis, you are going to have malicious actors that are going to be taking advantage of the world stage or the country stage or the county stage to make their feelings known. So this becomes a political platform. It becomes a platform for every advocate who feels that this is a great opportunity. It becomes a huge platform for anyone who feels they've been wronged by your agency, by the agency you represent, or by whatever the event is. This is a social media with when there's eyes on something, influencers, whether they're good influencers or the negative influencers, are going to find a way to get in on that. So this is where if we don't do the training in advance of how we're going to manage this, it's going to be the tail wagging the dog. We are going to be chasing after narratives, which we never want to do. We're going to be confusing the people that are attending the event or that are following the event because they're not sure what to believe. And lastly, most importantly, is we're absolutely affecting the trust and the credibility of our agencies. If people see our agencies floundering in a mass of bad information, especially that's going to spread like wildfire online, that's going to affect how we're able to govern and do our jobs down the road. So the preparation for these big events this year is extraordinarily important. I'm not sure that a lot of government agencies are ready for this.
Really good point. And one thing I was thinking as you were just responding then is it's not even just about making sure you have your own house in order. One very feasible difficulty I can foresee is if some serious incident were to happen, is just a complete misalignment between agencies and a lack of consistency and coordination as well. So that coordination and sort of liaison piece really needs to be tightly honed.
Yeah, if I can just say a few words about that. We have seen in the past when a crisis happens, when people aren't staying in their own lane, what that does to people's trust. So a classic example was in New Orleans 2 years ago on New Year's when we had a police chief saying, or sorry, the mayor saying this was a terrorist event, the police chief looking, what's going on, the FBI saying it's not a terrorist event, but there's some IEDs on the street, and then the police superintendent coming up and said, but go out and enjoy the city. The backlash on social media was immediate and horrible. So one of the most important things that we can do is to prepare and make sure everyone is in the room doing the desktop scenarios and everyone has a place. There is a lane. I talk about the difference between lane swims and water polo. We're all in the same pool, but when you're doing a lane swim, everything makes sense. We're all in the same pool, but where everyone's doing lane swims. You've seen water polo, where that is a brutal sport. And everyone's just trying to get in and be better than the other person. This is super important because as soon as we have a news conference or as soon as there's that conflicting messaging, nobody trusts anyone because essentially the perception is you don't even know what each other is doing, so why on earth should I believe what you're saying?
Okay. Thank you, Judy.